Hey, Language Arts parents, coming to you with another weekly Language Arts review and preview. It's a cold one today, February 12th. I had bus duty and it was freezing cold out there. Lots and lots of snow. So hopefully you're able to stay inside and stay warm this weekend. Fortunately for your students, they have a book to read, so they can get cozy with a good book over their long weekend. They're in book clubs. We've started our dystopian unit. We're up and running with it. We're actually in bend 2 of it, so close to halfway done. We'll be done with this. It's going to finish out the end of trimester 2 for us. There's a lot of stuff this week we still have to do to wrap things up before the end of the trimester, but it's been good so far. So in bend 1, we read Lord of the Flies, the classic novel by William Golding, Lord of the Flies. And kids really enjoyed it. It's a challenging text. I think it's about a 10th grade reading level text. And so several students, just from their initial reading of it, like if they had some homework, they struggled to comprehend some details. And so we talked about note taking. We talked about some comprehension strategies. We discussed the book at length in class. And I was really excited to see kids tackle a challenging text like that and have some really powerful takeaways. The dystopian genre is somewhat of a new genre, and so it presents some interesting and unique factors that students might not be used to. And so I think kids have enjoyed and gotten a lot out of the unit so far, particularly looking at things like symbolism or character archetypes. Students should know those things pretty well by now, so feel free to ask them about them. We talk a lot about power struggles. We talk about rules and customs. We talk about how most of these dystopian stories take place in a future that's gone awry, or a future that's gone wrong in some way. In bend 2, we've started book clubs. So students are in groups of 3 or 4, and they've picked a novel out of the selection that they've offered. These examples are like Animal Farm, or Fahrenheit 451, or The Maze Runner, Hunger Games, The Pearl by John Steinbeck, and a few others. Divergent by Veronica Roth. So there's several different options that students are reading. And so feel free to ask them about those books. Since we have a 3-day weekend and they're at a pretty important part of their book club, it's helpful that they make quite a bit of progress over the course of this weekend. That'll be tough for them since they won't have their book club to interact with. I encourage them to find a way to communicate over the weekend. I think that they're pretty good at communicating over technology. That's what I've noticed as a middle school teacher. And I provided them another outlet for that with a Google Doc on Google Classroom that serves as somewhat of a group discussion or a chat function. It's a Google Doc where they can post and talk to one another over the weekend. I encourage them to log in once per day, at least. Maybe more than that would be beneficial, to ask questions, answer questions, and engage in discussion with their book club. If they have a better way to do things, that's fine. I just want them to be communicating over the weekend in some way, shape, or form about what they're reading. We've utilized online resources like SparkNotes. I've taught them how to use it for good and not for evil, to use it as a way to fill gaps that they may have in their comprehension rather than to cheat, rather than to just skip reading the book. I've told them that doesn't really have much real world value. Cheating like that and just taking the easy route doesn't really help you out much in the long run. So hopefully they understand that it is a valuable and helpful resource. It's not just something that can be used when a teacher's not looking. Let's see. We took a notes quiz today. Today was Friday, so we took our weekly notes quiz. I put a homework grade in the grade book this week for the previous 10 homework checkpoints that I'd given them. We set a goal this week to hit 10 units on Lexia, our online grammar and language software. That's a really low bar. I lowered the bar for them because so many of them were not hitting their weekly minutes, and we'll now start to raise the bar back up since we've lowered it. So they all should hit their 10 units this week. It's very easy. And I'll have a couple more grades in the grade book. I'm planning on Monday when we have our professional development day. I'll have a little extra time. So you should have a pretty accurate view of where your student is at after Monday. And those grades, are getting closer and closer to being final now that we're getting closer to the end of the trimester. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email me. Otherwise, that's about all for today, and I'll see you next week.